People will often look at an ornate crocheted blanket or project and think, I could never do that. That's way too complicated. However, by learning a few simple foundation stitches, you can actually create a variety of projects. Most patterns are just a repetition of a few stitches. Stitches in this demonstration are going to be the foundation chain, the single crochet, and the double crochet. My grandmother began teaching me how to crochet when I was about 7 years old, and she began by teaching me these same stitches. Over the years, I've used them in a variety of projects and patterns. To begin, the first step of any pattern is a good foundation, and most people prefer the foundation chain for this. The length of your initial chain is going to determine the length of the overall piece, and some people like to do long rows and just repeat that back and forth to make the full size of the blanket. Other people will like to make squares out of their initial foundation chain and then sew all of the squares together at the end. So to begin, you're going to learn how to make a slip knot. We are going to take our yarn and make a loop out of the yarn. After that, we're going to take the long end and insert it through that loop to create another loop. Pull that loop tight and you have a slip knot. The next step, we are going to put the crochet hook through that loop and pull the long end of the yarn so that your loop is now tight up against your crochet hook. So to create the chain, we are going to begin by taking the yarn and wrapping it from the back to the front of the crochet hook and pulling it through the loop. That makes one chain that you can see here. We're going to repeat this step again. From the back, wrap over to the front. This is called a yarn over, and pull through the loop. You just keep repeating this step until your chain is as long as you want it or you have the correct number of stitches for your pattern. And here you can see a chain. After you've made your foundation chain, you can add stitches to the top to create your first row. The second stitch that we are going to learn is the single crochet. It is a short and dense stitch, so it does make kind of a heavy pattern or heavy piece. And to start, we are actually going to add one more chain to our foundation chain because this last chain on our right next to our hook is actually going to be the first stitch of the row. After you have added your one extra stitch, we are going to insert the hook into the second chain. So you can see here 1, 2, insert the hook from front to back, and we're going to yarn over again, just like we did for the chain. Yarn over and pull through just this first loop. So now we have 2 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over again and pull it through both loops this time. And that is how you've created your first single crochet. To show you again, insert the hook from front to back in the next chain, yarn over and pull through the first loop. You now have 2 loops on your hook, so you yarn over and pull through both of those loops. You can repeat this as many times as you need to finish your chain, and this can be worked row on top of row, and you can continue for as long as you like until the piece is whatever size you want. So the last stitch that we're going to learn today is the double crochet. This stitch has more steps than the other 2, but it's going to use the exact same motions that we've been using. It actually creates a tall and airy stitch, and it's a lot lighter weight than your single crochet is. But because it's taller, we actually need to add 2 extra chains. 1, 2. This is because these 3 chains that are at the end here are actually going to be the first stitch in your first row. So after we've added our 3 stitches, we are going to yarn over before we ever insert the hook, and we are going to count backwards 1, 2, 3, 4 chains from your hook. So you've got your yarn around and insert into that 4th chain. It's a little tougher than the previous one. Once your hook is inserted into the chain, you're going to yarn over again and pull through just the first loop. Now you have 3 loops on your hook instead of just 2. We're going to yarn over again, pull through 2 loops, 2 loops left on your hook, yarn over again and pull through both of those 2. That is your double crochet. To show you again, we're going to yarn over first and insert it into the next chain from front to back, yarn over again and pull through just that first loop so that we have 3 loops on the hook. yarn over, and pull through 2 loops, 2 loops left, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And again, you can continue this same stitch for every chain in your row. This is another that can be stacked row on top of row, and you can make as many rows as you want. You can make this project as large as you want. So now you know the basis for many patterns that are created using a variation on the number and arrangement of these stitches. You know how to create the foundation chain, the single crochet stitch, and the double crochet stitch. I know crocheting can seem extremely daunting when you're first learning, but if you get a good basic knowledge of a few stitches, you can repeat those simple steps and just keep practicing, and you can learn to create amazing projects. Thank you.